You want to know how you can emotionally bond with MLP? Well, a good option may just be an episode on anxiety. Yes, I would clarify this as an anxiety episode. Literally. And I feel like they handled this incredibly well, or at least they portray it well. So the story of this episode is, well, Apple Bloom basically suffers from an anxiety attack in her nightmare, specifically surrounding concerns of her cutie mark. Like, I'm not looking too deeply into it here. I'm not kidding. This is what actually happens. So yeah, the entire episode is mostly just a dream. However, unlike other shows or movies that use this plot, this episode makes every moment actually matter. Like, it doesn't cheat you for watching it. The episode makes it very clear where the dream begins and ends. And more importantly, all the experiences and lessons that Apple Bloom learned in the dream is something she really learned and actually improved from. So what did she learn in the dream? Well, earlier in the episode, the CMC get a note saying that Bab's seed got her cutie mark, and they have a brief debate on the true cost of a cutie mark. Like wondering if you can still be a CMC when you get your cutie mark, wondering if the mark you get will please everyone, and if the mark you get pleases you. And so all three of these problems are in the nightmare in some way. In the first sequence, Apple Bloom gets a mark she doesn't like. In the second sequence, Apple Bloom is kicked out of the CMC and loses her friends because she got her mark. In the third sequence, she is kicked out of her family because she has a mark that they don't like. And in all three of these sequences, Apple Bloom meets this shadow monster pony that removes her mark every time it becomes a problem. However, at the end of the episode, Princess Luna enters her dream and shows her that the shadowy figure is Apple Bloom herself. Well, yeah, she was literally lost in her own shadow. This whole analogy blows my mind on so many levels. First of all, everything in this dream is Apple Bloom's own insecurities and doubts. So it's making a case that Apple Bloom is ultimately placing all that negativity on herself. Second of all, the way it portrays the anxiety here, it's all in the same nightmare that spawns from the same fear. Fear of who you are. And that's what anxiety is. A culmination of all those fears into one black, shadowy mess. Third of all, the metatextual moral here isn't lost on me. It's an anxiety attack. So all these fears you're so worried about that it can be often hard to escape and come back to reality. It's literally what Luna says in the episode. Sometimes our worries about a thing can be so much that the fear can make us feel like we're trapped in a nightmare. Even though, yes, the obvious thing to say here is if you survive your literal worst nightmare, coming back to a place of peace can often be easier than you might think. And of course, I'm sure Luna can sympathize with that. And yes, this was the third in the CMC Luna Visitation trilogy, I guess. We got one new of these per season, and all of them were fantastic. And I feel like this was the best way to end it. As someone who suffers from anxiety, I cannot overstate how hard this one can hit. This really is Anxiety, the MLP episode. What do you know? Another one of the CMC Dream trilogy. Okay, guys, this is gonna sound a lot like my number 7 choice, but I promise you it's different. Because, believe it or not, there's actually many ways fans and idols can find common ground. You could learn from your mistakes like Star Tracker, or the anxiety you have for wanting to meet and connect with this person can come from the very behavior you're afraid you won't live up to. That is not looking into it too deeply, by the way. This episode is about a camping trip between the CMC and their sisters. Meanwhile, Scootaloo tries to impress Rainbow Dash, but Rainbow starts telling scary stories that Scootaloo denies she's afraid of. Here's the thing about Scootaloo. She originally started her Rainbow Dash obsession with just that, an obsession. But by Sleepless in Ponyville, she sees her as a potential sister, a potential really close friend. And jeez, was she right. Scootaloo and Rainbow Sisterhood is something we actually see grow and improve throughout the series. So obviously Scootaloo wants to spend the time with Rainbow. And what better way to do it than a camping trip, where she's out in the open and she can do her best and show Rainbow that she's worth her time. But here's the thing. I think Scootaloo is a little too worried about that here. Throughout the episode, that is all that's on her mind. Impress Rainbow. Be worthy of Rainbow. But in doing so, she's ignoring her character. And when Rainbow starts telling the scary stories, it gets worse because now she's ignoring her fears. And here's the thing. Rainbow keeps feeding her encouraging comments like, "You're like me, tough." So in her mind, it's working. But it wasn't. Scootaloo is still scared of these stories and is in denial about it. Until Luna visits her and helps Scootaloo remember her true fear. Not being as cool as Rainbow thinks she is. And that's certainly true, but here's the thing. If Scootaloo continues to be in denial about her fears, hiding her character for Rainbow's sake, her fear will come true. I don't know about you, but I'm sure Rainbow doesn't like a faker. So she rides her scooter out into the night, and in her fear-filled stupor, she still tries justifying it to herself. That ends with her acknowledging that she is in fact scared. Accidentally falling off a cliff, she falls into a stream almost to her doom, until Rainbow heroically saves her. After getting to safety, Rainbow demands an explanation, and now is the time. When Scootaloo confesses, she's honest. She lets her true character out completely for Rainbow to see. She tells her she's afraid and what she was hoping for when she got to spend time with Rainbow. Honesty breeds trust, and trust is the key to love. And of course, Rainbow admires this, and so she ends up being honest with herself for Scootaloo to hear. And well, of course, she takes Scootaloo under her wing like she was hoping for. And as a result, they grow as sisters throughout the series. The start of something honest and true about each other is something Scootaloo and Rainbow never forgot about in their sisterhood. So they show that every time. And the more they reveal about each other, the more they can actually relate to each other. She really is like Rainbow. Tough. Like I said, you know it's relatable when even the characters in the episode relate to each other. Remember how I said my number 5 choice was Anxiety, the MLP episode? Well, Party of One is Abandonment Issues, the MLP episode. To be honest, this one is probably going to be shorter because I want to mostly focus on the ending because it's technically a twist ending that is so wonderfully executed. But do I have abandonment issues? Oh, undeniably. And as you would imagine, this one would hit especially hard for me. But I want to stay focused here, okay? But don't get me wrong, I'm sure there is someone out there who can relate to this episode. I'm certain of it. So the story is, after Pinkie Pie hosts a birthday party for her pet alligator Gummy, she tries hosting a second party afterwards. But all of her friends avoid her, so she starts getting suspicious that her friends are actually abandoning her. But in the end, it's revealed that they were actually throwing a party for her all along. So, let's talk about this. It starts innocently enough, just her getting suspicious about her friends making excuses to abandon her. But then she randomly confronts Spike about it, and I heard about shock, but this is literally how it goes. It literally pops and deflates like her mane. Now, aside from introducing the icon of MLP horror, the way Pinkie Pie degrades from her insecurity is genuinely dark. Like, I did hear some kids were actually kind of scared of the Pinkamena appearance here. And I think, yeah, it comes from the idea of Pinkie Pie facing her fear. Pinkie actually being alone is Pinkie's worst fear realized. And because she's so afraid of it, she's more scared of what's happening around her. She did all these nice things for her friends, and now she just feels ashamed. And that is just sad. She wanted to do these things for them because it makes them happy, but that's where the insecurity begins. What if they really don't enjoy her? And so, it creates one of the most vicious cycles in a person. She has a mental breakdown, undoubtedly. When she makes these fake friends and starts voicing them, she's literally become a puppet to her fear. Emotions of both sadness and anger intertwine with her being. It's especially unnerving when she projects her insecurity through these objects. And yeah, that's what the fear of loneliness does, all right. That's how disturbing a mental breakdown truly is. And notice the way she twitches in her facial expressions. She's trying to keep it together while she's breaking inside. It's the best portrayal I've ever seen of a mental breakdown, and the perfect painting of disturbing to convey it effectively. Also, in the next shot, Gummy isn't there. It says a lot when even an alligator is scared. And, yeah, it disturbs Rainbow. What this showcases here is Pinkie. She needs to have others in her life. She cannot be alone, or else this is what happens. After that, Rainbow escorts her to the barn, where Pinkie's party is held. But Pinkie still doesn't believe them yet. She thinks it's a farewell party, and they want her out of the group because they were lying to her all day. I love how this is the ending twist. This whole episode could have just been about the main six actually lying to her just to avoid her, so they could make a moral based on that. But thank God they didn't. They instead give a legit reason for it. They wanted Pinkie's own party to be a surprise because it was thrown by them, because they wanted the best for Pinkie's birthday. And so in the end, Pinkie does make up with them and it ends on a happy note. It's literally Abandonment Issues, the MLP episode. Hey guys, just a quick editor's note here. I just wanted to clarify that yes, if Pinkie's friends legit did have a problem with her parties, they would have said something. And she almost gets that implication in the episode, but still, it leads to her party in the end, which still results in the nice twist. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention that here, I just wanted to stay focused. And with that, let's go on to number 2. Yep, Luna eclipsed. I mean, do I even need to say anything? Do I even need to comment? Its relatability speaks for itself. This is such an obvious choice, but it's also a right one. This is the episode that began Princess Luna's iconography in the fandom for a reason. Okay, so before I go into this one, let me show you a clip from the pilot, Luna's backstory.
Relished and played in the day her elder sister brought forth, but shunned and slept through her beautiful night.
Shunned and slept through her beautiful night? As in, no one talked to her. She was all alone. Remember how I said abandonment and even loneliness can severely damage you? Nightmare Moon? You can betcha that's how she was created. So her arrival on Nightmare Night makes way too much sense now, doesn't it? After entirely skipping Season 1, rebuilding herself after her absence, suddenly she notices a night when everyone is awake. A lot later than usual. Why was everyone awake? She was trying to reach out. She was trying to find out why. And to do it, she goes to the one village where she already has familiar allies who purified her, Ponyville. Only to find something worse. Ponies are still supposedly scared and terrified of her. The celebration is a celebration of her past, something she tries to avoid. This is impressive. Like, the way that the series is so self-aware of her character based on everything she went through since the pilot is so well executed, it's almost criminal. And it even goes down to the simple details. The way she speaks is very outdated. She uses this traditional Canterlot voice shout, which not even Celestia uses. Generally speaking, yes, she's out of touch, thus making her quest to find friends more challenging. So on top of Luna's fantastic development, we have Twilight. And she is just an absolute trooper for Luna. She stands by Luna's side throughout the whole episode to understand and really help Luna's dilemma. Throughout the episode, Twilight visits her friends and confronts them about Luna. And in each confrontation, they're asked to show Luna how to change her tone to connect with others despite the intimidation. It literally starts with Fluttershy giving her simple voice lessons in order to show how it's actually more effective to lower her shout. Later with Applejack to show her how to simply let her guard down. And I gotta talk about Luna's participation in these games. Look at her reactions here.
Ha-ha! The fun has been doubled! Hear me, villagers! All of you! Call me Luna! Luna! Let us join together in fun! Huzzah! How many points do I receive?
Obviously, there's the joke of the out-of-touch official finally having fun and having the best time ever over simple activities. But it comes off as more endearing than it is cringy. It's charming. I point that out specifically because of this line here.
Yes, I can tell by all the adoring shrieks of the children as they run away.
Luna has a specific passion for the children. Pipsqueak in particular is supposed to represent that. You know what this says to me? It shows me Luna has a childlike innocence when it comes to social interactions, because she never got to develop that part of herself properly. Look at what she says when she encounters Pinkie directly.
The ringleader of the frightened children. Hast thou come to make peace?
She's changed, Pinkie. She's not evil or scary anymore. And she definitely doesn't want to gobble you up.
Well, duh. Huh? I know that. Sheesh, Twilight. I'm almost as big as her. How's she gonna gobble me up?
So why do you keep running away and screaming?
Sometimes it's just really fun to be scared.
Fun?
Pinky undoubtedly has a childlike mind, and why she's perfect for explaining what the excitement behind being scared is, rather than terrifying. Luna can't be terrifying, and everyone knew this all along, and that's yet another wonderfully executed twist ending. Luna learns how to use her intimidation as a strength to connect with others instead of abusing it and letting it hurt her, like her Nightmare Moon persona did. She gives her friendship to Ponyville on Nightmare Night through her participation as the ultimate character on the night, the one who started it all. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I guarantee you someone said everything I did in some video or another. Can Twilight sympathize with Luna for the same social isolationist reasons? That's what she says in the moral. Can you, the audience, relate with these same social isolationist reasons? Oh, undeniably. Did this episode catapult Luna's fame into the fandom's atmosphere? Yes, it did. I mean, come on. One of the biggest reasons why Lunar Republic became a thing was because so many people related to her. And how ironic is that? Doesn't it seem like a match made in heaven? All she wanted in life was friends and love, and now look how much love she has in the real world. My number one choice was something I had the most difficult time choosing, because there are certain things I knew I couldn't leave out of my list. But at the same time, it's something I know that not only I can relate to, because I know others can too. It's why I made this video. However, more often than not, I do have to remember it is my list. So please remember that when you see this list, it means you're getting my opinion. And as for my opinions, there are 2 episodes yet that have yet to appear on this list: Amending Fences and Do Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep. With that being said, I know this will probably be cheating to some of you, but this isn't to me because I'm taking both of them on in this number. There is no reason why number 1 shouldn't be a tie, especially because by some crazy coincidence, these 2 are actually sister episodes. If you're not happy that I'm doing this, please at least note that both of these episodes deal with very similar issues very effectively. With so much to unpack, with so little time to do it, it's generally not going to be easy to say is all. This video could go on for another hour and there's things I know I'll miss. Another thing that they both have in common, oddly enough, is, well, they both have something to do with the moon. Moon Dancer, Princess Luna, it's like a duology of the night. But both deal with a common theme of the complex, most negative nature. The most complex to understand of oneself. Depression. Let's start with Amending Fences. So the main plot of this episode is Twilight reconnects with her old friends as she feels guilty for how she treated them. 3 of them don't seem to mind. However, one of them, Moon Dancer, had changed, and not at all for the better. So Twilight tries to reconnect with her as well as make amends. First of all, Moon Dancer's design in the flashbacks are literally Twilight recolored. The idea is that she's a reflection of Twilight. She's how Twilight would have ended up if she never went to Ponyville. Depressed and isolationist.
Where are you going?
I don't know, Spike. I really messed this one up. That party was everything to her. I can only imagine what it must have felt like when I didn't show up.
Hey, Moon Dancer! Look at this spread, huh?
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course. We wouldn't miss miss one of our best friends' parties.
Is Twilight coming? Oh, okay.
And it gets worse. She views any friendship she made so pessimistically that it hurts. She holds extreme resentment towards Twilight in particular. I would imagine Twilight's absence sent the implication of,
That was only the first time I ever put myself out there, and then you didn't even bother to show up. Then you left town without saying goodbye, even though we were supposed to be friends. I was humiliated. I felt like I wasn't important. I never wanted to let myself be hurt like that again. Those three finally convinced me that I had value, that other ponies might like me and want to be my friend, and you didn't show up! Ah!
yeah, I don't even need to say anything. I mean, who cannot relate to this? Putting yourself out there only to be rejected or even put down for you trying. And, well, not wanting to be hurt again. You know what really hurts? This video is my attempt to put myself out there and potentially relate to others. The fact that this is so many people came to my Misty videos was like a calling to see how many people I can connect with. And like Moondancer, any pessimism I hold in my past or any other time should never be an excuse to shut someone out. Moondancer, on some level, knows they don't want to hurt her. She just doesn't want to be hurt. And I know how that feels, not wanting to get too close. How bad do you think this makes Twilight feel? A pit of guilt? She's the princess of friendship, but she's more than that. She wants to set a good example for herself after fighting so many foes and making them into friends. And well, I think Twilight knows that she's more sad than numb. So Moondancer even fools herself. She ends up betraying herself too by not putting herself out there again. And again, I know why. She plays it as if she's tough as nails and numb as a stone, but actually she's the most scared of all. I know she pushed her friends away from her life because any kind of love she gets just reminds her how depressed she feels inside, how empty she felt when that party didn't include Twilight. I know what this feels like because 2019 me made a friend. And 2024 me still holds that against me for not opening up, even though there should be no reason. I know who she is because she's like me. Like I said, relatability gives visibility. So in the end, Twilight tries something else. I love how Twilight tries a completely new angle with trying to make up with Moondancer. It's still themed to her party, but this time she's the one who tries for her, the effort she missed in the beginning. And still, Moondancer forgives her, but in a different way. And finally, all that drama is in the past. And I feel like that was an effective enough way to end it. Moondancer finally opens up, and in the end, she shows she actually improves socially. And as for Princess's dream of magic sheep, it's literally a depression episode. Luna fights her depression of the past by trying to take down the very thing she punishes herself with. She created this thing called the Tantipus that gives her a nightmare every night to punish herself, because she's that ashamed of her past. Now it's gotten so powerful that it's literally infecting others' dreams. The Tantipus is a representation of what Luna's depression looks like. She's scared that she can't make friends because of her past, even though that's not true. Even though Luna knows that's not true. That doesn't mean she isn't scared, like I was. She doesn't want to hurt others, but she doesn't want to be alone either. And yeah, I feel like Twilight's explanation is accurate. Why else would she be trying to stop the Tantabus if she wanted this? She didn't. And well, it ends with the Tantabus shrinking back down, and Luna doesn't get over it. It becomes a part of her. Like depression, it can never be truly destroyed or cured. And yes, I know someone has made this analogy before me, but it's a true analogy. It is right. That is undoubtedly what they were going for. It just ended up flying over most people's heads. Let's just say it simply, I agree with their opinions. However, I have to say this. This episode is probably more divisive than most of the others on this list. And well, it's not easy liking the episode when it seems everyone takes it out of context just because the runtime is that short. There really is more symbolism to this episode than what most people think. I personally relate to the episode. I know several other people who relate to the episode, and I love it for its concept and its execution. So I just don't think the episode is really worth hating on is all. And whether you relate to these episodes or not, it's hard to deny that they don't all have a good message to send. And they all send it in a unique and weird ways. Ways we can still find ourselves in. And that's the power of the most relatable. And well, like I said before, MLP FiM is a relatable show, but I know we can all at least consider it a special show. This is Twilight X360, and see you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you could relate.